let's talk about writing equations in slope-intercept form. The lesson objective for this lesson is that by the end of the lesson, after you watch the video and do the work, you're going to be able to write an equation in slope-intercept form. First, let's review some quick vocabulary. Okay, so believe it or not, let's do slope-intercept form first. Slope-intercept form is something we have been working with, and it has to have the y on the left-hand side equals, and then the coefficient in the variable plus the y-intercept. If it is not in this order, y equals mx plus b, it is not considered slope-intercept form. Okay? So if you had an example, it would be like y equals 3x plus 6. Okay. Instead of slope-intercept form, there's also a standard form. Standard form is when this equation down here has both variables on the same side. So for instance, this is standard form of the same equation. Negative 3x plus y equals 6. That's what standard form looks like. We're going to be doing some converting back and forth and writing equations when we know the slope and the y-intercept. So let's first do something really quickly that I don't think is going to be a problem for you. How do I write an equation in slope-intercept form when I'm given a slope and a y-intercept? Well, if I know the slope and the y-intercept, that's pretty easy. Y equals mx plus b is the slope-intercept form. So I'm going to just substitute the things I know. So I'm going to rewrite it in slope-intercept form. Y equals negative 3/4 x, because that's the m, and then minus 5, because the y-intercept is negative 5. Now, if you wrote it like this instead, y equals negative 3/4 x plus negative 5, that would also work. Those are the same things. But once you have the slope and the y-intercept, you can write an equation in slope-intercept form very easily. But what do I do if I have to change an equation from standard form to slope-intercept form? Well, this isn't really all that hard because you've done it before. You're going to simplify this equation until it's in slope-intercept form. Now I'm going to write your slope-intercept form off to the side here so I can show you what I mean. So y equals mx plus b. Right now, both of the variables are on the same side. So I need to move my negative 3x from the left side of my equation to the right side of my equation to turn it into slope-intercept form. Okay, so I remember that back when I was simplifying expressions, if I wanted to move something across the equal sign, I have to do the opposite, either add or subtract it across the equal sign. So I want the y on the left-hand side. What I want to move is the 3x. So since it's negative 3x, I'm going to add 3x to both sides. Okay, so those cancel. Now I have y equals, remember I want it in slope-intercept form, so my slope comes first, 3x plus 19. Doesn't seem so hard. You're just using the information that you know about simplifying equations or expressions, either one. Now I can't go any farther than this, and I don't want to go any farther than this because I'm not trying to solve for x. I'm just trying to turn my equation into the correct form of slope-intercept so that I can actually use this information to graph a line. We're going to talk about that tomorrow. Here are two of them. Two that are in standard form and not slope-intercept that you're going to convert. I want to do the first one with you because it's a little more complicated. Then I want you to try the second one by yourself. Okay, so 2y minus 8x equals 20. I know that I have to move the 8x to the other side. So I'm going to add 8x to both sides. Okay, so now I have 2y equals, hang on a second, I'm going to make this a little smaller. 2y equals 8x plus 20. Now here's where the complicated part comes in. That's a little different than simplifying expressions. I don't want 2y. I want to know y. Okay? So since it's 2y, it means that 2 times y. And so I want to divide by 2 to get rid of the 2. This is where it is different than the expressions we've done in the past. When I do that to one side, I have to do it to every single term on the other side of the equal sign. So I'm going to divide the 8x by 2 and the 20 by 2. So these cancel, and I now have y equals 4x plus 5. It is now in slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. Okay. I want you to go ahead and try the next one by yourself and come back and see how you did. There's a lot of moving from one side of the equal sign to the other to actually get it in slope-intercept form. Try it. Just try it and see how you do. Okay, so let's see how you did. The first thing I want to do is I want to move this y to the other side of the equal sign. So I'm going to add 3y to both sides. Now I have 3y plus 15 equals 21x. All right, well, I don't want this 15 here because I'm trying to get it in slope-intercept form. So I subtract 15 from both sides. Remember, this 21x and 15 cannot be combined. They're not like terms. So now I have 3y equals 21x minus 15. I don't want 3y, I want y. So I divide by 3. Everything divided by 3. And now I have y equals 7x minus 5. That's slope-intercept form. Was it complicated? Yes, but I think it's something you can do if you get back into the habit of moving things from each side. What you need to remember is you're not trying to solve this equation. You're just trying to move it and manipulate it so that you get the slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. Another way that you might be asked to turn an equation into, or look at a line and turn it into slope-intercept form is through a graph, okay? So what you have to do is very quickly find the y-intercept and the slope, and then that's very easy after that. So the first thing I'm going to do is find the y-intercept. That's b. So I follow my line down and I see that it crosses right there. So count backwards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So my y-intercept is negative 5. Now, my points are already marked for me to find my slope. So my slope is rise over run. I see that my slope is going to be negative because it starts up top in the left and drops down to the right. So now I'm going to count. First I put my triangle in. Now I'm going to do my rise and my run. 1, 2, 3, 4. And since I went down, that's negative 4. And then over 2. Okay, so my slope is rise over run, which is negative 4 over 2 equals negative 2. Now I'm going to turn this information into slope-intercept form. So y equals negative 2x plus 5. Oops, I'm sorry. Mrs. Hall, not paid attention. Minus 5. Try this one by yourself. It doesn't have any points, so you're going to have to plot them. And then come back and see how you did. Okay, so let's see how you did. First, we're going to find our y-intercept, which is b. I look for it. It's right there. Count 1, 2. It's a negative 2. Now, when I look at my line, it starts from the bottom and goes up to the right, so I know that this slope is going to be positive. I know that ahead of time. So let's find our slope. Okay, I'm going to plot 2 points. I'm going to plot a point right here. Remember, it has to be exactly where 2 coordinates would be, and then I'm going to draw in my triangle. Now I'm going to count my rise and my run. Okay, my run is positive 2, my rise is positive 1, so my slope is 1/2. Easy peasy, turn this into slope-intercept form. Y equals 1/2 x minus 2. Hopefully you didn't have any trouble with that. Can you tell that slope-intercept form and finding the slope and finding the y-intercept is going to be really important in how it goes back and forth between the equation and the table and the graph? That's going to be important for you when we start our next unit of functions also. Okay, so the last example is, how do I write an equation in slope-intercept form from a table? Well, you do the same thing. You're going to find the slope, and you're going to find the y-intercept, and then you're just going to write it in the equation. So very quickly I can find the y-intercept in my table, because I know that 0 in the x column tells me that 7 is my y-intercept. Okay? Now I have to choose, in order to find my slope, I have to choose two coordinates. I'm going to choose 1, 9, and 11, 2. And I'm going to use this formula to find the slope. So y2 take away y1. My y2 is 11, my y1 is 9. So 11 minus 9. And then I'm going to do x2 minus x1. That's 2 minus 1. And what I end up with is 11 take away 9 is 2. 2 take away 1 is 1. So my slope is positive 2. Turn this into slope-intercept form. Y equals 2x plus 7. Pretty complicated in some parts. Others, you guys know how to find the slope and y-intercept. If you have those two pieces of information, you just put them into the equation. Okay? Ask any questions you might, write them down, and we'll do some of this tomorrow.